What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla's SPY in the overall market. I'm also going to talk about Tesla's Chinese sales that just came out, not to mention some new developments on the charts. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. This offer ends very soon. It ends in just 6 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, for Tesla, I just want to mention that Tesla has gone past this 250 resistance, but we're approaching the 255 area we were talking about yesterday. And that's despite the fact that Tesla's Chinese sales were not that strong. That is just for 1 week, though, so it's not the end of the world. And overall, Tesla's holding up well, but we are approaching some resistance in the market, so we're going to be looking for a big move very soon. So today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Happy Tuesday. Just know that today at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 30 minutes after the market ends up opening, we have some important data coming out. We have the consumer confidence report coming out for September, coming out at 10 a.m. Not to mention the Richmond Fed manufacturing, the manufacturing shipments and the services revenues reports. So this might cause some volatility, so watch for that very carefully. Besides that, we have some bill auctions and note auctions coming out at 11:30 and also at 1 p.m. But the main time is 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 30 minutes after open, we have this important Richmond Fed data. So watch and see what this leads to. It's going to be very, very important. Now, other factors out there are the fact that right now, the fear and greed index is at greed. Greed is making up the majority of sentiments. Momentum is also at greed. So we'll be watching this very, very carefully. Other things out there also show that the put and call option ratio is neutral, stuck in the middle, and the VIX is still waiting for a very, very big move. Now, as far as Tesla goes, I didn't see too many headlines out there, but I did see this that just came out. The Chinese registrations are out, and they've fallen a bit despite the fact that we have a very, very strong amount of expectations for Q3. So yesterday, a lot of analysts were saying that Tesla should surpass 470,000 deliveries, if not at least 460,000. That's well above the 440,000 expectation. That's very, very nice. But despite that, when you look at the Chinese sales, overall, we did see a little bit of a decrease week over week. So for the week between September 16th and 24th, Tesla did about 13,800 deliveries, which is not that bad. Or I'm sorry, not deliveries, it's insurance registrations technically in China. But it's actually down about 11.5% relative to the previous week. So that is what we're seeing. Despite that, and despite the chart looking like this is what it looks like overall. We're actually doing a little bit better compared to like the same time last year. So it's still not that bad, but it's a slight decline. You usually want to see a very, very strong end. However, so we're hoping for a big increase in their sales for the final week of September. Usually, we do see a very, very big push for the end of the quarter. So I'm hoping we get a nice push next week. That's what's going to matter a lot more, and we could offset this with a very, very strong finish to this quarter. So let's hope we finish very strong. And then on top of that, this could help their sales really improve. Overall, I still remain very, very optimistic for their report. Now, when it comes to other news, the market is continuing to push, remaining bullish, but we're going to be looking at some tough resistance on the S&P 500. Looking at what Kashkari said, he basically said that he suggests that the Fed could go back to about 25 basis point moves, but he also mentioned that he supported their moves so far. Whereas other Fed members are saying that the Fed could be less cautious if they expect to be normalizing on monetary policy. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy out there. There was some talk more about how GM is continuing to invest in its EV business. That's no surprise as the sector is growing and they're continuing to improve their charging mechanisms. But I'm not going to focus as much on that. So now let's focus on Tesla. What do we see for this moving forward? So Tesla was bullish, and we were talking about this yesterday, how Tesla could be pushing for that, the 250 to 255 area is going to be very key. We came just under. I think we reached this 255 area, the resistance up around here. So we did a good job at pushing. But the issue with Tesla is that if you look right here, right, between 250 and 255, 257, we have a very, very tough resistance area, and we do have a tendency of kind of rejecting up here. So I'm not saying Tesla has to reject, but I'm saying that resistance is going to be kind of tough up here. So I do anticipate we might see a lot of choppy price action. It's good Tesla's trying to push higher, might go a little higher. But between 255 and 257, this is where Tesla might be looking for a lot of tough resistance. So we could be looking for a push up into this range, a dip back down to about 252, and some sideways price action around here. We also have this gap down here to fill at 250. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla sees a lot of sideways price action in this range for now. And then we could even come back down to fill the gap if the market starts dipping soon, which I think it will do very, very soon. So that's what my view is, at least for Tesla. For SPY, if you guys look at this carefully, notice that we're starting to see a lot of chop up here, and there's a little bit of weakness building. So with SPY, we had this high up here at 572. We came down. Now we could be making a lower high, but look at how we're not really breaking past 572. We're just seeing a lot of it chop right here. We're chopping, chopping, chopping. We've been doing this for like 2-3 days, and we're kind of struggling in this 570 area. Now, I think today we could try to push to 570, consolidate for a little bit longer. But if we start losing 568, which could happen over the next few days, this could still decline a little bit lower. So I think what's going to happen is we push a little higher. We could be looking for 571 or so, and then we're going to see a lot of consolidation in this range again, lots of chop, and eventually this could turn south and eventually start making its way down to 568. Once that breaks, there should be some downside coming. I still anticipate that's a strong possibility as we're at some tough resistance. Notice that for ES, we are continuing to consolidate at this 5780 zone. We're still not doing a great job at breaking out past 5800. It's very, very choppy right here in this range. If we lose 5760 to 20 EMA, this will be dipping lower. I think we could be making our way down there within the next 1 to 2 days. And eventually, if that breaks, we will be on our way to the lower 5700 area. So watch for that very carefully. For Nvda is very, very choppy as well right here. We have this resistance to watch for at 117. If that breaks, we're looking for 118. If we lose this 114, 115 area, we could be dipping as well. I presume it's just going to continue to chop around for some time, but then we could eventually come back down to fill this gap. So look for a lot of choppy price action between 118 and 116, and potentially a little bit of a dip to these lower levels like 114 and beyond. So watch for that. For Bitcoin, we are still trading sideways in a range, and we could be dipping a little bit lower towards 63,225. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip back down towards 62,500. So look for a little bit of a dip right here. We're still range bound. We kind of popped and dropped, popped and dropped. We popped right here. It might dip a little bit more. So look for 63,200 to be tested. If that fails us, we're looking for a little bit of a dip. I am seeing a little bit of weakness on Bitcoin, so just be mindful of that. For NQ, it's the same thing essentially. We have 20,200 as resistance and 20,000 as support. It's very choppy right here. Notice how it's going back and forth and back and forth, back and forth. If we lose the support right here, we could be dipping back down towards these lows at 19,864. If we break past 20,200, we're looking for a push. We could dip towards this 20 EMA and eventually lose this, so be very careful, guys. We might be barely testing this support very soon, the 20,000 area. If that fails, this is going to be dipping lower. We are holding so far. We're in a range between 20,000 and 20,200, so we'll see how it goes. For the QQQ, we're trying to hold at this area. We could try to retest 485, but just be a little bit careful because it still is very, very choppy, very, very tight. If we were to lose 480, we're looking for a dip. It is holding up a little bit better than what I was expecting so far, so it's still kind of choppy up here. But we'll see if we could break 485 and remain bullish. There is a possibility it dips a little bit lower to retest 480 again, but we're not seeing confirmation yet of that break. Aapl, it's trying to hold over here, but we still have this gap down here to fill, and we've been declining a bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Aapl does eventually make its way down towards 225 very soon. I still think there's a downtrend that's present. Might rebound a bit to start dipping, but I think we're just going to be range bound for now. But the downside risk is still there. For others out there, like the IWM, we're barely holding our 20 EMA. This is the key support, 220. Watch 222 as resistance, followed by 222.7. If we lose 220, we're looking for a dip. I think that we could consolidate in this range for now. So give it some time. For Amazon's at resistance around 194. It's trying to hold up so far. We could push towards 195 or a little bit above that before it starts to turn back down. We did end up dipping back down to about 190 only to rebound. So far it's holding support. So this could continue to push a little bit higher to 195, and then we'll see how it reacts. Meta is still trading sideways, consolidating at 565. If we lose 563, we're looking for a dip back down towards the 558 area. We also have 570s resistance, so we might just consolidate here, then eventually start dipping back down towards 557. For Microsoft, we have 433.7 as resistance. We have the support to watch for at 430. I think we could continue to decline to 430 unless we reclaim 434. Look for a pop and drop as a likely possibility. Then we have Google just consolidating. If we lose 162.6, we're looking for a dip back down to fill the gap at 162, eventually 160. So we'll see how that goes. With that being said, guys, Tesla is still doing a decent job at holding up, but we have some tough resistance up here. So be careful at this 255 to 257 area. Might go a little bit higher, but watch and see us start to kind of like trade sideways in this range for the time being once we get these big developments. And also, don't forget, guys, we have the Richmond Fed data at 10 a.m. So look for some volatility and we'll see how things go. So thank you for listening. Look for some volatility at 10 a.m. for today. Until then, have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you and peace out.